And here it is. So, pardon me. So here it is. It's just going to be a short. Oh, hold on, I'm going back. Oh, all right. So here it is. It's going to be a short little video, just on an outing on Bloomberg that Dangote recently had. So we're going to be watching that outing and then having somewhat of a reaction to it. So we watch that outing, have somewhat of a reaction to it. So let's just get into it. It's going to be fairly short. Hopefully, I only just decided to do it within the last 5 minutes or so. But let's see what Dangote had to say with and to Bloomberg, and then we take it from there. So let's kick it off. And by the way, I've sent the link into the comment section. Anybody else to join. But let's listen to Dangote, see what he has to say to Bloomberg. By the way, he's taking his fight with the Nigerian space to the international space. That's really what's going on here.
Aliko Dangote, thank you so much for speaking to Bloomberg. You have the refinery, it's opened. How does it feel? It feels like a milestone from the outside. How does it feel for you?
I think it feels really great. It is really a great achievement. It's something that 90% of the entire world did not really give us a chance. Nobody really believed we can pull it off, but we did. And, it is a great satisfaction to me personally as a person and also to the organization. So I think we've done very, very well. And there are quite a lot of things when you look at where we're coming from. Nigeria being an oil-producing country, and we've been importing petroleum products for the last 35 years. It just doesn't make sense.
I mean, from the outside, it looks quite difficult. Any regrets?
I think no regret. I would have said that, yes, maybe a bit of regret if we hadn't succeeded in delivering. But, to tell you the truth, it was it was a monster. Monster in the sense that, like what I keep telling people, if I knew how difficult it was sort of putting this kind of, edifice, this kind of refinery, I wouldn't have started at all. But, but by the time we realized that it was a very difficult thing, we had already started. So we had no choice.
Oh, all right. So what I'm just pausing it there. What Dangote is talking about there is a crucial element of entrepreneurship. What he's talking about there is a crucial element of entrepreneurship. There's a particular component of entrepreneurship that if it is not there, then you would not succeed, and it is naivety. It is naivety. So that is why enterprise always succeeds with younger people, because they're somewhat naive. Not all of them, or that's not a broad categorization, but in the broad strokes of it, younger people are a lot more naive to the vagaries of life, and that's what he's talking about. I'm not describing Dangote as a young person, but a crucial component of entrepreneurship, that a successful entrepreneur has to have an element of naivety to it, to him or her. So now Dangote is saying that if he knew that the difficulties that he was going to encounter were as big as those difficulties were, he would never have embarked on the endeavor. That's what he said. But he embarked on the endeavor, but by the time he started encountering those difficulties, it was already in too deep. So it was a case of live or die, sink or swim, fight or flight, and he decided to fight. So that naivety is a crucial. A lot of people don't actually acknowledge that, but naivety, it's a leap of faith. You have to make a leap of faith. And when you make that leap of faith, you are leaping into the unknowing. That's essentially what Dangote is saying.
Then to deliver.
But what's the hardest bit? So you have a relationship with the government. They're getting rid of subsidies. You have to find the crude. You refine it. You sell it back.
I think that is not really only the hardest part. The hardest part, Francine, is delivering the project on its own. we never ever expected the kind of challenges that we face. You know, we launched the project in 2013, and then we had a lot of problems with the state government. You know, it's not the federal government, you know, because we have 3 tiers of government. So we bought a land, you know, it was in a state not far away from Lagos, and the guy dribbled us for almost about 3.5 years. And we had to now move the refinery to Lagos. We got to Lagos, we had community issues. So it took us really.
So that was the Ogun State debacle that I was talking about, of course, where the governor, through ego and greed, lost the opportunity to have this world standard facility in a state.
5 years to start. Just battling here and there. After we had already taken loans of about 2.4 billion to start, and interest was counting. But then still, you know, we went ahead. Then again, the challenges of building that kind of, you know, project, we realized that, you know, we had to build our own port. We built the port. After building the port, we realized that nobody could supply us with cranes, equipment. So we had to take something that people don't know or they don't realize. What we did now, we now made ourselves as the EPC contractor, which is engineering, procurement, and construction. So we did it on our own. And because we have never, ever handled this kind of project, this kind of project are handled by SciFem, by Bechtel, you know, the big guys. But we took that challenge. And that is why people believe that, no, it will never work.
So the government wants to get rid of subsidies. Will your refinery help with that?
Well, the government, you know, subsidy is a very sensitive issue. If, you know, I believe the problem is not only the subsidy, it is problem that, you know, once you are subsidizing something, then people will be blotting the numbers and government will end up paying what they are not supposed to be paying. But this our refinery will bring quite a lot of issues out there. You know, it will show the real consumption of Nigeria. Because, you know, nobody can tell you. Some people say 60 million liters of gasoline per day. Some say, no, it's less. But right now, if you look at it, by us producing, okay, everything can be counted. So everything can be accounted for. And most of the trucks or ships that will come and load from us, we are going to actually, you know, put a tracker on them to be sure they are going to take the oil within Nigeria. And that, I think, can help the government to save quite a lot of money.
So do you think it's the right time to get rid of the subsidies?
I think it is, you know, because all countries have actually gotten rid of subsidies. Let me give you an example. Saudi Arabia used to give what Saudis, the citizens, believe that, look, oil is our own God-given gift. So the government shouldn't charge us for it. So government was selling it at a very low price. But today, as we speak, gasoline is about 40% cheaper in Nigeria than in Saudi Arabia, which I think it doesn't make sense. That is one. Number two, our price of gasoline is about 60% of the price of our neighboring countries. And we have very porous borders. So it is not sustainable.
So what Dangote is saying there is essentially what makes the price of petrol in Nigeria artificially high. So it's telling us that the price of petrol in Nigeria is 40% cheaper than in Saudi Arabia, and that of course off the back of currency conversion. I know you know the usual argument, oh, they have all of these social structures within Saudi Arabia and social welfare and all that, but that's not really what it's talking about. It's talking strictly about the price of petrol. So it's telling us that the price of petrol is 40% cheaper in Nigeria than in Saudi Arabia, which is just a point to note. But the point that impacts, what really impacts us, is that it's telling us that the price of petrol in Nigeria is 60%, 60% cheaper than all of our neighboring countries. So that is really where it impacts us. So anytime petrol comes into Nigeria, any half-witted entrepreneur is really looking to take it across the border and double its money. And that is what keeps petrol artificially high in Nigeria, because it's so cheap that it serves more for the entrepreneur to take it across the border and double its money. So that's essentially what Dangote is saying.
You know, I mean, the amount of subsidies that were paid, government cannot afford those subsidies.
So do you need the government to take away the subsidies for your refinery to be viable?
Well, you see, we have a choice of either when we produce, we export, and when we produce, we sell locally. But we're a private company. And yes, it's true, we have to profit. We build something worth $20 billion, so definitely we have to make money. The removal of subsidy is totally dependent on the government, not on us. We cannot change, price. But I think, the government will have to, give up something for something, So I think at the end of the day, the subsidy will have to go. But what we have done now, with the government, which I think I must really thank the president of Nigeria, President Bola Tinubu, very creative idea that, okay, fine, you know what, we will sell you the crude in Naira, you also sell in Naira. So now we are working out for the exchange rate. It's going to be priced, normal pricing, if crude is at $80, Brent, we will pay that price. We'll use an agreed exchange rate, and then we will also sell in the domestic market. What that will do is that it's going to remove 40% pressure on the Naira. So, because you see, the petroleum products consume about 40% of our foreign exchange. So, and then, it's like you have 40% of demand being taken out. So that can actually stabilize the Naira.
I think it's very important that people understand what Dangote is saying there. So he's saying, and as we all know, that they've agreed a Naira for crude exchange space. So now, what does that mean? When Dangote is going to NNPC to buy petroleum products, crude oil, which is an international product, by the way, and probably the most sought after international product on this planet, when Dangote is going to buy crude oil from NNPC, is not then debiting through the central bank to purchase dollars to carry out that international transaction. No, it's going a direct route of a Naira for crude purchase. So that's the agreement. So that pressure now, so because he has to go to the, if the traditional way is that he had to go to the CBN to purchase dollars, to then go to the NNPC to purchase crude oil. But with this arrangement that NNPC, Buhari, not Buhari, we've had so many presidents that stumbled over. With this arrangement now that he has agreed with Tinubu, it doesn't have to go through the NNPC route anymore. And he's telling you now, and he, if anybody should know, he would know, he's telling you now that the biggest pressure on the dollar within Nigeria is that petroleum product, because that's the number one product that the Nigerian economy needs to function, and that is a dollar hemorrhaging product. So with this thing now that he has agreed, this creative idea that Tinubu has come up with to purchase in Naira, it removes that pressure from the dollar one, so he doesn't have to go and purchase dollar, and then it cancels out the importation of crude of our refined products too, and then all of that petroleum pressure on the Naira suddenly just dissipates and disappears, and that strengthens the Naira ultimately in the long term. And that is creative thinking right there, and Dangote acknowledges that.
That's one. Number two, the government will now know, even if they're going to subsidize, they will know what is the real consumption. Because right now, nobody can tell you what you are consuming. It's all guesswork. So That can help in terms of stabilizing the market. That can also help in terms of removing queues, because we have a lot of queues, and these queues are not there today. They've been on and off since 1972, for the last 52 years.
But so what does it mean in dealing with Naira instead of dollar? What does it mean for your group? Is it a benefit, or actually just gives the government something that they want?
I think really is to give the government something that they want. It's a win-win. You see, because the issue is that, yes, we are Nigerians, and we have to also do something to show that, yes, we do care. And part of caring is to now agree with the government that, okay, fine, let's go ahead and do this with them, because it will be very awkward for somebody like me or our group to come and say that, no, we want to deal in, dollars. I think it's a win-win, and it will benefit the country quite a lot. The whole thing is actually, okay, fine, what do we leave as a legacy? And I think doing this, by even making sure that, yes, we've taken Nigeria out of an oil, petroleum product import country for the first time in the history of Nigeria, is a great milestone, which I'm very, very proud about.
So how's the relationship with the government? I know there's a number of negotiations, including the price of gasoline. What kind of offering have you made?
I think we have quite a good relationship, today, with the government, and where the president actually put the Minister of Finance and also Minister of the Coordination of the Economy, and then the Special Advisor Revenue, very smart guy, Zach Adedeji, and they are working out something which I think it will be a win-win between us and the NNPC. If NNPC's, that is Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, if their refineries, if they start to work, then Nigeria will be one of the biggest exporters of petroleum products in Africa. In Africa, only 2 countries are self-sufficient, which is Algeria and Libya, but all other countries are importers of petroleum products.
So what kind of
we have energy security, where there won't be
where they give you crude.
They will give us crude.
Yeah.
Just to pause it for a moment, I just had a thought. If Tinubu wants to be really aggressive and rescue the Nigerian economy, he should institute in law, and the Dangote refinery, by the way, is within the geographical oversight of Nigeria. It's within Nigeria, so it falls under Nigerian laws. If Tinubu wants to be really aggressive and rescue that country once and for all, he should insist that all Dangote transactions, all Dangote refinery transactions should be carried out in Naira. So if he's selling to the international space, which is going to be 80% of his trade, those trades have to be carried out in the Naira. So if they're able to institute that in law and get Dangote to acquiesce to it, then you can imagine then. So if they're wanting to buy Dangote petroleum from India, they will have to come and purchase Naira in order to carry out that transaction. So they have to bring dollars into the CBN to purchase Naira and then buy Dangote products. And similarly, ditto any other country that Dangote is transacting with. And with that, the Naira will almost be as strong as the British pound. If they can take that leap to institute that universally Dangote transactions, not all of its conglomerate, but the refinery, Dangote refinery transactions should be exclusively carried out in the Naira, that will rescue that country once and for all.
Already we have agreed, like for example, in October, they're going to give us 12 million barrels, which is averagely about 390,000 barrels a day, which will sell both gasoline, diesel, and aviation fuel. And if there's any excess, we'll export. But our refinery is also versatile, where we are producing a lot of things. It's not only these 3 things that I mentioned. We're also into polypropylene, you know, which is petrochemical, which 80% of it is also to be exported. But 20% is what the demand is in Nigeria, which will also sell to help a lot of plastic industries. So, but with the government, I think the agreement would be that, okay, fine, when we take that one, we will now sell to everybody. So it means that 50% or 60% of petrol stations that have not been working or they've been out of work, everybody will now be at work. Right. It will reduce the cost of having ships floating all over Lome and, you know, I mean, paying demurrage. Demurrage alone, we're going to save over $1 billion.
I mean, there seems to be disagreements on how you price your gasoline with an NPC. Have you settled on a price? Can you give us a bit more clarity on what's going on?
Well, okay, what is going on? There was, it wasn't really a disagreement per se. NNPC bought from us this particular one at the international price, which they also bought about over 800,000 metric tons of gasoline imported. So the one that they bought from us actually is cheaper than the one they are importing. And so when they announced our price, the guy, I don't know whether he was authorized or, but it wasn't really the real price. What they have announced, yes, most likely that is what it cost them, including profit, including whatever, you know, which they have never added profit to their cost. And then the other one is the one that they imported, but the people don't know how much they spent in terms of the import, but their own importation one is almost maybe about 15-20% more expensive than ours. You know, so what they're supposed to do is to sell at a basket price, or if they want to remove subsidy, they can announce that they remove subsidy, which is okay. Everybody, you know, will adjust to it.
But you're not worried, Aliko, that some of the oil majors, because of their vast resources, can sell for cheaper?
Well, yes, most likely, you know, because in business, it's, you know, I've said this in my interview before, where I said that I never knew that the oil industry mafia are stronger than the drug cartel. It's a big cartel. You know, I will say this anywhere. The issue is that you're right. They can say, okay, fine, you know, to make sure that this refinery doesn't work, we'll keep selling cheaper. But right now, they won't be able to sell cheaper because they will not be able to take local currency. We will take local currency. We have the refining capacity, not only to satisfy Nigeria, we have refining capacity that is almost twice the consumption of Nigeria.
But you're also confident that you can strike a deal with authorities?
No, we will. We'll definitely strike a deal. The president has announced
soon.
It's going to start 1st of October. You know, so I think between now and the next couple of days, they will come out with a very, very clean agreement.
I mean, it's a pretty big accusation that you say, you know, they're run like a cartel and they could price me out. What's your ideal scenario? So how much of the crude would you refine and sell domestically? Like if you have a blueprint of the kind of agreement that works for you, for NNPC, and for the government, what does it look like?
Well, that agreement will look quite okay because we're going to now have a discussion with the government where we will have the one for the domestic market, which government will not give anybody dollar to go and buy. So people will now, we're going to have like a...
So what Dangote is talking about there is essentially a monopoly. So it's saying they will have an agreement with the government where anybody is not able to go and purchase dollars to import. So now that essentially is a monopoly. Because if the oil marketers are not able to purchase naira from the CBN to go and import oil, then they have to source those dollars somewhere else. So they have to source those dollars somewhere else. And if they source those dollars somewhere else at the commercial rate and go through the route of that importation, their landing cost, even at landing, is already almost twice what, not twice, or at least a good 30-40% higher than what Dangote is already at the market at. because he doesn't have the importation cost, it doesn't have the demurrage, it doesn't have all the intrinsic cost that goes with all of that importation space. So he's going to drive them out of the market. So he needs the government to stop that importation support for petroleum in order then for him to crush that space and have essentially a monopoly. And as we all know, Dangote thrives as a monopolist.
Circular economy, in the sense that all the transactions will remain within Nigeria. You know, bankers, letters of credit, or everything will be in Naira. But the one that we are going to export, we also have our own plans to make sure that, yes, we don't fall in the hands of some of these sharks. You know, we have our own plans, and we're also planning. As they are planning, we're also planning our own, because we have to plan to survive, and I'm sure we'll do so.
Does refining Nigerian crude actually shorten the yields for the refinery?
No, it doesn't shorten the yield. It gives even the yield. But you know, we have to different Nigerian one, the WTI, Brazilian, you know. So a couple of this, we have to do that. It depends on what you call the LP model. So if we do that, then we will know it's designed to produce 93% of high valued things, you know, from polypropylene, gasoline, diesel, aviation fuel, very small naphtha. Naphtha will only have about 36,000 tons. And then the raw materials for carbon black. But the low residue, which is the cheapest product, is less than 7%. So that makes our refinery, you know, to be a very profitable, refinery. But you know, this is something that you build for a long time. You know, it's not something that you use. If it's question about making money, you look at it in the last 7 years. If we as a group had taken this money we invested and invested in stocks of Microsoft, in Tesla, in Google, I mean, our worthiness would have been over $100 and something billion.
But you're confident you can make this work. Are you going to invest more in the sector? Why not go upstream?
We know. Well, upstream, you know, we're in also upstream, not big. We have 2 oil blocks, which we have. And
all right. So that's a confirmation of something that was said on this platform. I think Larry referenced it yesterday, actually. So that's a confirmation of what was said previously on this platform. Dangote actually owns 2 oil wells in Nigeria. But are they sufficient enough to service its needs? That's the question. We don't know how deep or the quantity output of those oil wells. But Dangote certainly owns 2, by its own admission, oil wells in Nigeria.
We're starting production this October.
Yeah.
But we want to look at more of the downstream, you know, because in oil you can produce over 6,800 items. You know, so now we're doing polypropylene. Yeah. We're going to double our size in polypropylene. We're going to also do about 500,000 tons of polyethylene. And then, you know, we're also doing on the other side a different company, which is also owned by us. We're doing about 3 million tons of urea. So we will also double that. So there is lab benzene, which is raw material for making detergent. And nobody produces that in Africa. So these are the smaller projects which we want to do. And we want to really try and achieve this in the next 2.5 years.
So you wouldn't invest in actually getting the oil out of the ground?
Well, I think I don't want to put too much money there. No. I already have one. If any cheap asset comes around, you know, we can pick it. But is it the intention of our group to make sure that we produce our own raw material? We're not going to do that. We will not target to go and produce.
Okay, so that's a fatal flaw right there. So So because the biggest problem that Dangote seems to be having at the moment is the problem of supply. So that's the biggest problem. So if he has an extraction opportunity, which is to say to lift the crude directly from the soil and then funneling it into his refinery, it should be actually aggressively looking to buy as much license for extraction as possible. So the dependency on NNPC is as reduced as it possibly can be, because as long as it continues to rely on NNPC, it's at the behest, it's at the grace of whichever government is in situation. So a lot of the governments in situation have been in favor of Dangote. They've always supported his enterprise. But if he comes across a government that is aggressive towards his enterprise, they could tighten that NNPC supply and mess up his enterprise. So as much of the extraction licenses that he can lay his hands on, he should pursue them. So he can lift the oil, he can extract the oil right from the wells, funnel it into his refineries, refine it, and then pump it out. In fact, it should control as much of the chain as it possibly can in order to assert its independence of the state.
400,000 barrels per day. We don't have that plan as we speak today.
Aliko, there was confusion. The NNPC was meant to take 20% of the refinery. It's now 7%.
Yes.
What happened?
What happened, I think we agree with them. We gave them a good deal. Where we said, okay, fine. We structured an agreement. The first agreement was that they're going to pay us $1 billion. The deal was about 2.79 billion. And then the balance of the money, $1 billion, which they paid us about a year and a half ago. And then the balance of the money was split into two. One portion is that every crude they supply to us 300,000 barrels. Then we'll deduct $2.
Yeah.
And then up to the time they finish paying that, 1/3. The other 1/3 will come out of their own profit. So what NNPC opted out that no. It's a little bit confused. I mean, it's a bit of a confusion. They want this agreement to be changed where they want to pay cash. They don't want it that way. So we say, okay, fine. We sign another agreement, canceling the other one. The new agreement that we signed was for them to pay us after 1 year, no interest, nothing. After 1 year, they'll pay us the balance of 1.8 billion. The month for them to pay was June. And June, they came back to us and said, no, they've changed their minds. They want to remain at 7.2%. So, okay, fine. So we left it. And we own now the rest of the shares. They own 7.2%. And we own the balance of the shares. And that's what it is. But
So that adds to a myriad of reasons why Mele Kyari should be sacked. So they had an oil for share agreement with Dangote, which is the perfect plan. So for every crude, they take X amount of it to pay towards completing the 20% shareholdings that NNPC would have. So they had that agreement, but for whatever reasons, for reasons of Buhari wanting to steal as much oil as possible, they cancelled that. And then he then had a staggered payment structure for them to pay off what is left to own the 20% of Dangote refinery. When the time came for the payment, they came back to say they were not interested anymore. Can NNPC not afford 1 point whatever billion? They certainly can. Mele Kyari has stolen enough even to afford it as an individual. But they cancelled that because they rather steal that 1 point whatever billion than have it go towards a Nigerian stake in the Dangote refinery. So they cancelled that as well. So the Nigerian state's investment hand in the Dangote refinery now has now been reduced to a derisory 7.2%. So that's how much of Dangote refinery we own now, 7.2%. So 7.2% means nothing. In terms of dividend yields is derisory. In terms of influence over the structures of the company is negligible, is a non-starter. It means nothing. So essentially, we own nothing other than just Dangote throwing us $1 every now and then. And that is where Mele Kyari has led us.
But I think they made a big mistake.
But it'll stay that way. There's no negotiation or talk.
No, there's no negotiation. The agreement, that one is finished, dead, completed, is 7.2%. That's where we are right now.
And like, why did the offices actually get raided in January?
Well, the issue is that there was nothing, you know. I mean, they came to us and said, okay, fine, they are looking for some documents. I say, what are these documents? No, you are bidding in terms of, you know, foreign exchange. I say, okay, yeah, we have this, but you're asking for 15 years documents. But anyway, we have them. So we sent the people out there to go and take the documents. Say, no, go back. We're going to come to your office. You know, and they before we knew it, you know, they were already in our office. The office really was not raided. They visited the office and they didn't talk to anybody. They did not arrest anybody. They just came and, you know, and left just to register an embarrassment, and that's all. But, you know, the way we run our own organization, and that is why when you look at it, Francine, we're the highest tax-paying corporation in Nigeria. Our company paid in 2023 more taxes than the entire banking industry. And that is why, you know, so whatever that we do, because we know that, yes, we're up there, anybody, whether it's a new government or whatever happens, we're the first port of call. So that's why our own behavior has to be 100% clean.
And that's settled. You don't expect, I mean, that's what happened in January, that's done.
Settled, you know, and if any time somebody wants to ask us, okay, fine, what about your own tax? What about this? Fine, we don't have any issue. You know, people really don't understand also what we add to the economy, but in a very short period of time, people will do understand our own contributions to the economy.
Like, fertilizer plant is only, what, 50% of capacity?
It was 50% capacity, but in the last in the last 1 month or so, we have enough gas. So we have started now running at about 85%. You know, I hope it will continue. But you know, there's also the gas, which is they call it OB3. OB3 is a gas pipeline which is bringing gas from the east to the west, because in the west they have industries. So that's why the demand is. In the east, the gas is there, but no demand. If they have that, which they promise that they're going to finish in October, then we'll have more gas than we needed. You know, so I think that issue is being resolved, and that is why we are also trying to invest more by putting up another plant to double our fertilizer plant from 3 million to 6 million tons.
So the refinery's built. I know you're the biggest Arsenal, one of the biggest Arsenal fans I know. Do you still want to buy the club?
Francine, I think that time has passed. And the last time when we had this interview, I told you that, yes, as soon as I finish with the refinery, I'm going to try and buy Arsenal. But the issue is that, you know, everything has gone up. And the clubs too, they're all doing very well. Arsenal is doing extremely very well. That time, Arsenal wasn't doing well. I think, you know, I don't have that kind of excess liquidity to go and buy a club for $4 billion, so to speak, and, you know, use it as a promotional something. And, you know, I'd rather do something with the money. What I will do, I will continue to be biggest fan of Arsenal. I watch their, you know, games every day. Anytime that they are playing, I will watch. So I will remain a major supporter of Arsenal, but I don't think if it makes sense today to buy Arsenal.
Do you regret not buying it before? Last time we spoke?
Actually, I regret not buying it before, but, you know, my money was more needed in completing my project than buying Arsenal.
So you would have bought it, what, for $2 billion?
I would have bought it for $2 billion, yeah. But, you know, I wouldn't have been able to finish my project. You know, so it's either finish your decision was for us to now go and complete our refinery, of which a lot of people don't believe it was going to work. You remember you interviewed me about this same refinery, and our refinery really has been it has been a discussion point all over the world.
Yes.
Because our capacity is about 1.1% of the entire global refining capacity.
Not without challenges.
Of course,
it's had challenges.
With a lot of challenges, a lot.
But would you do it all over again?
I wouldn't do this kind of huge refinery project again. You know, you can see, I told somebody, doing this refinery is what actually, gave me my gray hair.
Thank you, Aliko, for your time today.
Thank you so much, Francine. Great seeing you. And
So there it is right there. Quite an illuminating conversation right there, Dangote with Bloomberg. So a lot of things to be taken out of there, but we got Akim joining us. I'm not sure if he's ready. How much of that did you catch, and what did you make of what Dangote had to say, Akim?
Hi, Wama, good afternoon. Greetings to you. It's nice to have a session that that kind of align with our time over here in Europe, because the show is almost out there to favor those of our brothers in the States. One man, before I continue, I want to say well done for the job you're doing this afternoon, because I didn't expect you to come out. And I have not really had time to also comment on the electoral heist that took place in Edo State over the weekend. The criminality, the electoral criminality.
Are you going to cry for another 4 years? Don't worry, you will cry for 4 years.
One man is not. There's nothing to cry about. It's just that, look, if they can survive it, me too, I can survive it. So we'll all just be there seeing how it rolls. At the end of the day, it is what it is, you know. So we move on. So regarding this Dangote interview, I don't really, to be honest with you, the policies of paying for crude with naira in certain ways it's good, but I heard you saying that if every Dangote transaction should be done in naira, including when he is to export crude out. But then you have to understand that for a country like Nigeria, where we kind of rely on importation on most of the things that we need, if Dangote is doing basically all his transaction in naira, so what happens when he needs to bring things into the country from outside? Then the company is going to struggle to get.
No, it's not that space. So I'm talking about exporting finished petroleum products, because there's a lot of demand. The Kenyans are coming, the Ugandans are coming, the Brazilians are coming. Everybody's coming to buy petrol. They are buying it in Europe because it's of a high standard. So I'm saying that the government should insist that those transactions should be carried out in naira. So wherever they're coming to buy Dangote's petroleum from, they have to carry out that trade in naira. So that means they have to take dollars out of their own economy, bring it into the Nigerian economy to purchase naira, and then transact with Dangote, and that will strengthen our economy. That was what the Russians did during the sanctions.
Yeah, that was what the Russian did, but overall, I don't think that has helped the economy. But if you have to look at it, that this is like a private business on its own. So I understand that for the good of the naira, that's fine. But what happens if Dangote then need to bring machineries or to bring raw materials or other, not raw, maybe some finished goods back into the country, whereby they're going to need to use the dollar. So what then happened?
Yeah, then they will purchase that dollar from the CBN. That's a separate transaction, isn't it?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, would it not be better if the company have access to be able to sell outside in dollar, and just being able to hold access of dollars, so that when they need it, then they will have it in the borders? Because don't forget, if they are selling in naira, in a situation whereby you keep the country keep devaluing its currency, and where you don't have stability of naira. So how is that going to affect their overall business transaction? So it's going to be a problem. If it's a situation whereby the currency is more stable, or then we can say, okay, fine. But 1 month since the beginning of this year, you have seen how the naira have gone the other side. So if you're doing business like Dangote, you want to have some form of foreign reserve to be able to cushion any form of devaluation that's going to take place within the currency exchange market. So I think it's a good thing. The idea is good, but the problem is that our naira is not there at the moment. So if you try to push it, it might become a problem for companies such as Dangote to do businesses in that manner. But overall, I think it's a good idea. But the idea that the NNPC was even trying to buy a stake in Dangote, for me, I didn't like it from day one. I don't think it's good. Look, if these guys, if you say you want to create an environment for private businesses to thrive, why is the government also trying to buy into these private businesses? You have your own refinery that you've not been able. See, since when did they start telling us that Port Harcourt refinery is going to start working? It's going to start working. It's going to start working. How long ago? 1 month. It's been like what, 8 months now. What's going on? It's still not working. So if you've not been able to successfully fix your own refinery and run your own refinery, why are you buying stakes into a private refinery? It doesn't make sense. We have 3 or 4 refineries that are at the moment that are just moribund. They are kind of gone. For me, I don't know. I think they should sell the refinery because they've proven now that they cannot make them work. They've told us for how many months now that this refinery are going to work, but we
I
haven't
don't think they
seen.
should sell all of them, Akim. I think they should sell. They should hold on to the Port Harcourt one, which I think is the one they are really working on. But
1 month.
the
They
rest
should
of
sell
them,
all
I
of
think
them.
they only have scrap value. You know that.
Okay, 1 month. Since when did they start telling us the Port Harcourt one was going to start working? For how many months? That was July. It was
But they've been
August.
telling us, yeah, but they've been telling us it will work. So they are under pressure to make it work.
So who is putting
You
them
know,
under
but
pressure?
they've never said
No,
that about
no.
Kaduna, Worry, or whatever.
1 month is just a way for them to keep siphoning money, man. It's not going to work. Look. How many times have they come out? It's June, it's July, it's August. Now the September is almost gone. So when is it going to? Oh, they're going to do a test run. When is the test run running? When is it not running? So, like for me, get rid of all of them. Every single one of them, get rid of it. We don't need them. Give it to private people to run. Even the crude that you are even NAPC is getting involved. Bring private companies there to do the whole thing and get yourself out of that place. Because all they are doing with all of these things is just siphoning money, stealing. They look. The reason why the crude oil production is not growing most of the time is that the same people who are running these NFPCs will create cabals around the supply chain to siphon crude out of the country and don't record it. We heard of stories whereby machines that were deployed to be able to properly measure the amount of crude that are coming out. We're not put into use. People were even protesting against having such machine in place. We saw even in the port where they say they want to be able to measure the amount of crude that was coming into the country. They never put these things into use. It's just robbery and corruption all over the places. If you want to do, let Dangote run his refinery 100%, get yours whatever 7%, whatever, go take the money back and put it into whatever you want to put it in the system, and let Dangote run it in himself. I don't see the
Woman,
point in it. There's no
woman,
issue of.
can you hear me?
Yeah,
Hold on for
we can
Akim.
hear you.
No,
Yeah,
hold on for Akim.
I just want
No,
to
no, no.
interject.
Just hold on. Can you hold on 1 second?
Okay.
I'm going to be shutting it down in 15 minutes so that because I have something to go and do. So let Akim give us a brief commentary on Edo State, which he has not yet said, but I'll make it just brief, and then in the later session you can come back to expand on it, and then you have the final word, and then we shut it down. So let Akim round off, and then you come in, and then we shut it down
Yeah,
after that.
one man. That's of
Okay.
Edo State one. That one is a broad. Well, that was a broad daylight robbery. The APC lost that election woefully. I came on this platform. World Peace, people like World Peace and others were telling me, oh, Denko was going to win Ovia. He's been the House of Rep member. Or the APC candidate won his senatorial district for the first time. He lost the senatorial district. His deputy governorship candidate lost his own 2 local government that he represents in the House of Representatives. So what did they do? They know that even if they were to rewrite result in those 2 places, they don't have the numbers. The numbers are not just big enough. They came to Oredo and Ego local government.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you
Yeah.
a question, Hakeem. How many senatorial districts do you have in Edo State?
3.
And who occupies, can you name the parties that occupy those 3?
So basically, you have Edo North, APC, Edo Central, APC, and Edo South is Labour Party.
All right, brilliant. And how many House of Representatives seats do you have in Edo State?
How many? I think it's about, what, 14 or so?
It's 9.
9. Okay, 9, sorry. So,
and five out of those 9, they are occupied by APC.
Yeah, but one man, you see, this is
hold on. In Edo
Yeah.
North, which is the largest voting bloc in Edo State, all
Edo
of the
North?
Yes.
One man, come on, man, what are you talking about?
Is it not?
No.
Where are the largest votes coming out of
Edo
State?
South, Edo South is by far the largest. Over 58% of the vote population is from Edo South. It carries 7 local governments.
All right. But in Edo North, Edo North is locked down APC anyway, and Edo South, which is where Aswa and Monday comes from, that's split along our preference lines. And in the Edo House of Assemblies as well, the majority of the assembly members are APC members.
No. Edo State House of Assembly is majority PDP, one man.
I'm not sure. Do you want us to bring?
No. I'm telling you.
I just
for
want
fact.
to shut it down. Maybe in the evening we'll bring up the numbers.
So one man. So yeah, you're going to shut it down. But 1 second, right? So I'm going to say this, right? So when they've lost Edo Central, they've lost some local governments that they did not expect to. They didn't think they would lose in those areas. So what did they do? They came to the main municipal in Benin City and rewrite result. Go to the IRF and you see the difference in result between what is on ground, what they announced, and what is on IRF. It was a complete result. They stole it broad daylight. We had people on ground. APC was non-existent in Benin City. In the all 7 local government in Benin City, they were non-existent. The guy they called Tony Kabaka, guess what? He only won his own polling unit by 6 votes. 6 votes. That's what he won his polling unit by. All of them, they got beaten blue-black in Edo South. Mondo Pebolo, that is a sitting senator in Edo Central, is a sitting senator who they told us that, he's on ground. He lost 3 out of the 5 local governments in Edo Central. So what are they talking about? These guys wrote results. Oshomole was just bypassing beavers in Edo North to bring out astronomical numbers. Even with all those numbers Oshomole broke. Look, I never argue on this platform that APC is not going to win Edo North. But I've always believed that the numbers in the South is too great for Edo North to produce a number that was, and they saw it with all the forgery and everything. They still were not able to surmount the numbers that came from the South. So they end up doing what? They took the coalition to the INEC center in Benin, and then they started writing the results, changing all the numbers. That's why you see all the discrepancies between what is on IRF and what they announced on the election day. Look, they know what they are doing. It's what it is. Everybody knows what happened that day, one man. Forget about what happened in the presidential election. What you saw in the presidential election, what was I always said here? Obedient is not Labour Party. Labour Party is not obedient. A lot of the people that supported Peter Obi, majority of them, I know many of them, they were all PDP people. The governor Obaseki, had 1 leg in Labour Party and 1 leg in the PDP during the general elections. So the PDP was heavily divided. That was why they performed woefully in that general election. That's why they were not able to win any senatorial seat or more House of Representative seat. But look at the elections after that. State House of Assembly election, PDP won the majority of the seat. This election, APC got beaten badly. I'm telling you, the man who is a sitting senator right now in Edo Central, who is their governorship candidate that was declared the winner, lost his own senatorial district. The same senatorial district that he represents, that him and Aswa Godalo came from, he lost it to Aswa Godalo by 2 to 3. So what are we talking about? The one that is his deputy governorship candidate lost both local government in Ovia that he represented. And I told War Peace on this channel, I said, that guy is going to lose. He said, no, the guy is too popular. I said, no, he's going to lose both local government. What happened? He lost both local government. So they now came and tell us that APC, that is always performing woefully in Edo South, especially in Noredo, Ipobaoka and Ego. All of a sudden, they're now winning in those three. They're now winning in two out of three of the biggest local government in Edo South. Come on, man. We've seen all of this before, man.
Okay. One man, can I say something really quick before you shut down, please?
Yes, carry on, and then after you will shut it down. Sorry, gentlemen, but I have to be somewhere. So yeah, let's have the last interview. Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I don't have intention of coming in to disturb what you're doing because I know you only have short period to do this. Number one, let me just say something really quick on this Edo, which Akim is talking about. All what you're saying, Akim, is just campaign after election. You know what I mean? If you guys have evidence, that's same thing you guys did when during the general election when you talk about President Tinubu elections. Oh, Labour win. I mean, you got to court. You couldn't prove anything. Do you understand? This is not about you saying things.
One man, I was not among those people who say Labour won election. I was never among one of those people who say Labour won.
Okay. I'm just saying. So all this thing you're saying about I don't know, if you guys believe you have evidence to challenge what INEC has pronounced, you know what I mean? You are free to go to court and prove yourself. And if you prove yourself right, you know what I mean, they will give the election to you. That's it. So on the Dangote refinery, listen, woman, I hate when people don't have trust in the system, and I hate when people don't have belief in Nigeria. Last time when you were talking about the Dangote refinery, Madam Sita beat her own chest saying Dangote refinery will not work. She said Dangote refinery will not work. I beat my chest. Now Dangote refinery is work. Shame to those that don't believe in that project. Same thing. I keep me saying that Nigeria refinery will not work. You know, when that time comes, I will still say shame on those that don't believe in Nigeria. We should just be patriotic and have faith in ourselves. You know what I mean? We cannot just come out and start condemn every single time. Negativity is too bad. It's not good. It's not good enough. This thing get me angry all the time. When I hear people say negative things about you don't have a little faith. The Bible says a doubted man can never receive anything from God. If you don't believe in yourself, you don't believe in anything, you cannot receive anything from God. Just have a little faith. We should stop coming out and condemning. Thank you very much, one man.
One man, we're not going to take your time. If you want to short it, you can short it. But what I'm going to say quickly is that listen, you have your own position on that on Nigerian refineries. My position is based on the level of funds that have been poured into that refineries and as a proof of turnaround maintenance. So if you have belief that these people are going to do a good job to make the refinery work, but then ask yourself, how much money have they put into the refinery already? For how many years have they been plunging resources into those refineries to make it work? If it's not going to, if it doesn't work in many years of looting and stealing of our resources, what is the point? I'm not saying it shouldn't work. I'm saying sell it to private individual. Must Nigeria owns the refinery? No. Private people can come in and fix it. Then you know what? All those billions of money that we put into it, we don't put into it anymore. Private people will bring their own capital and then fix the refinery. What is wrong with that? Those money that are being siphoned, those money that has been that they are stealing to say in the name of we are maintaining refinery, put those money into other places, education, healthcare, and all of those. What is wrong with that?
Akim, I agree with you if you say what you're saying, but I don't want people to be saying is, and I can't control what people say. Don't get me wrong, that something will not work. I mean, I don't have temperament for that kind of.
What I said is that they should sell them to private. That's all I say. I'm not saying that. I said, look, they've proven over time that they are not capable to fix those refineries. Sell them to private people. Let private people fix it and make it work. Simple as that. That's my position. I'm not saying they should scrap it or break it or destroy it. No, I say get it out of the hands of government. That's all.
That's fine. One man, thank you very much for the opportunity. We'll come back in the evening. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you, gentlemen.
All right, thank you, one man.
All right, thank you, Akim. Real nice to see you both. So thank you, gentlemen. So of course I will have the evening session where we have a bit more time. Olatubosun, the super chatter for the day.
I don't know whether you already talked about the River State House of Assembly that the Supreme Court already affirmed. So I need you to talk about that in the evening, please.
What happened there?
The Supreme Court nullified the case against them. That was about 2 days ago.
So is that a judgment in favor of Wike or Fubara?
Exactly.
wicked
In favor
now.
of Wike.
All right. So that PDP space, I think we're going to have to dedicate a session to it.
One man, Fubara need to find his level quickly, because if not, he's going to get swallowed. He's going to get swallowed by Wike and his people. He needs to find his level quickly. If he needs to move out of that party, he needs to do that as soon as possible. If not, it's looking so dangerous for him now. Because
That's not the solution for him, Akim. That's not a solution. What you need to do, you need to go back to his roots, apologize for those that he has done wrong to.
that is if you don't know politicians. That's if
It's
you
too
don't know
late
politicians.
now. I don't think it's equal. It's too late for him to apologize.
Apologize. Okay.
He's now winner. Is die or kill or die. That's where he is now. Kill or die.
I just go quiet, because all those people they already took over the state from him, because they won the case. The House of Assembly, they will never work with him. They will be antagonizing him. So it's one leg in, one leg out.
I think he will ultimately be impeached. That's what I think.
Yes.
So this is why he needs to move out of that party ASAP. The National Working Committee is not on his side; they are on Wike's side as well. I don't know how that is going to work. So let's see.
It thinks that he has the backing of Atiku, but Atiku offers nothing.
One man, what was going to do? Yeah, they will let him finish his first time, but he's not going to go for second time. That's it. That's the end of him.
All right, gentlemen, let me do this. I was going to shut it down, but Larry is here. So what I will do is I need to go do something for about half an hour thereabout. So I'll just leave you guys to carry on. Larry will, no, Akim actually, or I mean, all three of you can manage a conversation amongst yourself. So manage a conversation amongst yourself, and I'll be half an hour or 40 minutes.
Okay.
No,
All right,
I just
man.
have like 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes to use on the platform before leaving.
That's fine. That's fine, Larry. Continue.
Okay, so I just want to talk, on the woman. Thank you very much for, for this program this morning. I just want to talk on the Dangote interview. And the thing is this: I think God loves Nigeria. It's not every country that have the opportunity that Nigeria currently has, particularly with Dangote refinery. A lot of potential that Nigeria can actually derive from this refinery. And now it's not left for our government to be able to take the full advantage of it. Because the only God just gave us another way to have a turnaround of our economy. And God also gave us another opportunity to retain our status in Africa. If we don't manage it very well, I don't know if we are still going to have that kind of opportunity again. Because we used to be, in Africa, those days when crude was really big, they call us giant of Africa. Not because, fine, our population, but the major thing is just the fact that we have the money. A lot of people in Africa look us as the big brother in Africa. And along the line, we lost that status. And now God is now giving us another opportunity to be that big brother of Africa. Now, it now depends on how we really want to manage it. If you look at that interview, it got to a point that I said, if NNPC can make those two other refineries functional, Nigeria will be the largest exporter of petroleum products in Africa, which is really big for us. And it now depends on how our government really want to manage it and how we really want to take the full advantage of this. Dangote has been so good. Dangote is just one of those businessmen that sees a problem and think of solution.
Solution. Okay.
The fastest thing that he could have done, and he said it there, if you put $20 billion, 2013 to this point, put it in Microsoft, put it in Amazon, put it in Tesla, that investment will be worth around $100 billion now. And
so let me ask you this question, yeah?
Yeah.
You may mention that he has agreement with federal government coming up in October.
Yeah.
So now coming October, if they didn't give him what he wants or what he's expecting does not happen, what do you think his next move will be?
So it doesn't. So the thing is this: it doesn't have anything to lose, right? Because there are other markets that he can also get his raw materials from. There are other markets. So getting raw materials from Nigeria, fine, it can actually be beneficial to him. It's going to be a win-win situation for Nigeria and for him. So if Nigeria eventually does not really give him, it's easy. There are countries, there is Algeria, there are even countries in Africa that are ready to really supply crude.
To him.
So it's not, probably if Nigeria doesn't give him, it's not going to make the refinery, not run. The only thing is just that look for other sources, and which is that he has always been doing before now. He's been going as far as, far
America.
as America, Brazil, some probably Venezuela, some other countries in Africa. And don't forget, Nigeria is not the only crude producing country in Africa. There are several other crude producing countries in Africa. So then it's just for us, right? Because the bottom line is, if you're selling crude to him at so amount in naira, which means that you can also get the same thing when it comes to him selling petrol to you.
Okay. So now, what when woman was playing the video for us, yeah, he make some kind of suggestion saying Tinubu should make a law that
No, don't go there. I saw that suggestion. It's not possible.
that's what I wanted to ask you. That what do you think
It's
about?
not possible. It's not possible.
So, brother, so what I wanted to say, I'm gonna quickly come in here. So, you see, when you started, you said, God did this for us, God did that for us, God saved
Yeah.
us, God gave us this, God gave us
Yeah.
that. So, for me, to be honest with you, I'm not a religious person. So,
Okay.
I say if God is giving us another chance, and we still have the same set of leaders that we have that have look for that, always find a way to put their own interest before the interest of the nation.
Yeah.
So does that not say that regardless of what God gives us, that the worst thing that we have is the set of leaders that if God is giving us everything, which means God gave us those set of leaders as well, right? So would it not be just better if God can actually take away those, just remove those those leaders, those set of leaders that are creating the level of bad governance that we find in Nigeria today, that we have in Nigeria today, and just make everything make it all work. So if Dangote is functioning today, don't forget we still have this set of people who will take advantage of it. Today we are still talking about people trying to people still talking about, okay, they're going to import crude into the country. Everybody is fighting for their. It's a nation where everybody is just fighting for their own interest. There's no nation first; it's personal interest first. So would it not be better if we look at it from this angle to say, look, these people first, the leaders, the people who call themselves leaders or personal interest people who are there, we need to do something about it first. That is the problem we have in that country, is that people are not patriotic towards the country. Rather, it's just self-interest.
Okay, can I reply?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's understand one fact. There is no country with perfect leaders. There is no country in the world with perfect leaders. But the thing is this, it's all about win-win. Even those countries that you see, corruption and all those things, there are also corruption in those countries. But they are able to really find way around it to ensure that it's still a win for the country. Look at the US, for instance. There are a lot of people outside that don't really know what goes within the system. A lot of things goes on within the system. So for Nigerian leaders, right, I think the major thing is people will always be corrupt because corruption is part of individuals. But when we have strong institutions, the institutions will be able to put people in line. So if you tell me, oh, probably if I tell you that oh, probably is this set of people, I'm telling you, there are another set of people who come that will be worse than those people. So for me, in order to make Nigeria work, I would rather believe in a Nigeria that has strong institutions, strong constitution that can address things. Will people not be selfish? Human beings are naturally selfish. Will people not want to look for more? Human beings are naturally, people that will always want to look for more. Will people not want to look for a way to kind of like, change the system? People will always want to look for ways to change the system. It happens everywhere. Even in the US, right? There are a lot of cases where people don't qualify for things, probably because they have more income and that thing is not really meant for them. But they still find ways to kind of like, walk around it and in order to benefit those things, and which is corruption. So, but when you have strong institutions that can take care of things, then at the end of the day, it's going to be a win-win for everybody. That's what I think. If you ask me about, probably this set of people, take this set of people out of it, bring another set of people. If it's still the same institution, they will be worse than the people you are complaining of.
Exactly.
So that's just what I think for that. So yeah, I think the ball is actually in the Nigerian government's court. If they want to manage this very well and let it be a win-win situation for everybody, there are a whole lot of things. And the fact is this: it's not all about petrol. If you look at what it's saying, other derivatives, right? How do we take full advantage of those other derivatives? Take for instance, it was talking about this raw materials for, I think, for detergents. Nobody does that in Africa, which means that every market that needs that in Africa needs to go out of Africa to get it into Africa.
Wow.
So if we have somebody in Africa that is giving that to other countries in Africa, which means that they have to buy that, from us. So because I think what Dangote have seen, for him to have told you that you can get over 600 derivatives from crude, and now he's now picking those derivatives one after the other, which means that the advantage that those other countries are enjoying, we're now beginning to see, because it's more like here, they close your eyes, they take your raw materials, they won't show you what it looks like, right? And they just give you peanut from what they derive from it, and you start shouting, "Oh, hallelujah!" And which is modern day slavery to me. Just like those days, right? They took our forefathers, they come, they bring mirrors, they give us all those things, and we think, "Oh, this is mirror." Somebody will come drill your gold, take it to their country, they refine it. There are other things that comes in it, and they give you something that make you look at it like, oh wow, this is great. Now we are now beginning to see what they are seeing. So which means that we can take the full advantage of other derivatives, not just petrol, every other derivative. Let's take full advantage of it and let's use it to build our nation.
Well, I don't know why the government is dragging their foot in regard to this thing. They should do what they need to do quickly, and let everybody benefit from what Dangote is doing. Because I don't understand why and what is the link.
So bros, it's not like government is dragging their feet. You know the problem? There are a lot of sharks. There are a lot. Dangote said it himself that as they are planning, he's also planning, because there are a lot of sharks.
Those are what I call enemy of Nigeria. Those are the people that they need to fish out, seriously.
Yeah, so there are a lot of sharks, and I think what the government is doing is, trying to look for ways to cut them off, because it's not really easy for you to say, well, I'm cutting them off. They can bring down the economy.
That's true.
It's just like the exchange rate. You know how powerful those guys are. even you take EFCC, go and arrest them, go and do this. They are powerful. So if you want to deal with people like that, there are ways. It's systemic. You know.
Larry, do you see me personally? I don't. I'm not bothered about how long it's through the government. But Nigerian people, they are not patient. You know what I mean? We are not a patient people. We want things to be done as soon as in fact, as like yesterday. So and I'm worried for Tinubu because time is going. You need to start sorting things out as soon as possible. So that's my worries. It's not, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. So for Tinubu, the thing is this. What I see, and this is my personal opinion, people will complain, right? But I see that there is light at the end of the tunnel. I see there's going to be a turnaround, right? Because it's not that it's a problem to pay subsidy on things. The problem is that a lot of people that are taking advantage of that payment. Let me give you an example.
yeah,
Power. Prior to this time, I think the subsidy they pay on power every month is around 150 billion. Now, government is paying around 180 billion every month
on power alone.
on power alone.
So it has increased.
Yes, every month. Around the 181 billion. Right? So what does that tells you? Is that sustainable? If it keeps increasing like that, that shows you that it will get to a point that government will say, no, we can't continue. And it's not like things are really, fine. Things are changing a little bit, but there are a lot of people that are taking advantage of that subsidy payment. Until you're able to build strong institutions that can at least checkmate those people, it's still going to be the same.
Yeah, but Dangote said good. Dangote said he said with him, he's going to put tracker.
Yeah, he's going to put tracker, but my fear is this sabotage.
They will remove the tracker now.
You understand what I'm saying?
Uh,
Sabotage, because you can put tracker, and Nigerians, when you tell them that you put tracker, now it's all about how do we sabotage that. Fine, it's going to reduce, there will be sabotage, but at least it's going to at least give us, at least give us a figure. Because today they will tell you, if you know the corruption in that sector, today they will tell you, oh, the consumption of Nigeria is 30, we consume 30 million liters every day. Tomorrow they are telling you we consume 60 million, which means that if government is, take for instance now, let's say government is paying 100 naira per liter in subsidy, right? And you say, okay, the total consumption is 30 million. So 30 million times 100, let's say that's what governments pay. Now you tell government, oh, now this next month is 60 million, right? Which means that government is paying 100 naira times 60 million liters every day.
That's a lot of money.
So which shows that and it's not like Nigeria is so rich that we have a lot of money. It's most of this money are being borrowed. And how long can we keep borrowing and keep borrowing and keep borrowing to sustain the country?
Yeah, but Larry, people don't understand. See, Larry, it's same people, yeah, that were crying that the fuel price is too much. There are same people that say, okay, subsidy must go. There are same people that say, okay, Tinubu subsidy is gone, but he's still paying subsidy. So I don't really know what we actually want, because if Tinubu said he wants to stop the subsidy finally, you know what I mean, the petrol pump is going to go higher than that. And can Nigeria afford that? They won't. I mean, they can't afford that price. So in a way, subsidy they still have to continue subsidy because Nigeria will continue crying.
So the thing is this. You see, we have a lot of different stratas in Nigeria. That if those strata, if we have 70% of them working the way they are supposed to work, there will be lesser in terms of the impact of all these policies on people. It will be a little bit lesser. Look at a situation where the state governments are doing, at least let them do like 60%, right? And not focus on all these projects that won't really bring value, like where every state wants to build the airport. You understand what I'm saying? They should focus on prioritize things that will directly benefit everybody. Look at the situation where all the local governments in Nigeria work at least to like 60-70%.
Yeah.
Look at a situation where every councillor for every ward in Nigeria have an impact of probably like 60%. So at that point, if you now look at everything holistically, you will see that there will be a lot of things happening within the country. But what happened is those big guys, they've been able to deceive Nigerians, and even the media too. They are not helping, because some of these medias that you see, they are brown. For me, most times I call them brown envelope media.
Of course, that's what they have.
They try as much as possible to make people divert attention from things that will benefit them and start focusing solely on the central government.
Exactly. Now,
And
Larry, you see what you just said now. Just brought one thought to my mind. Is instead of federal government putting this pressure on themselves about the subsidy, why can't they allow the states pay subsidy for their citizens themselves?
the thing is this: I'm very sure they will have given them that option, but your people, they won't. You know why? Because that means the responsibility is going to shift to them, and a lot of people will put a lot of focus on them.
If at Tinubu, that's what Tinubu needs to do. In fact, if you say, okay, now federal government is doing this thing, we are not doing that anymore. Every state should pay subsidy for the citizen and take care of the citizen for themselves by themselves. You understand? That will relieve this pressure from them, and the state governors. They'll start. I don't know, because I think that should be the best thing to do.
No, I think personally, I've said it on this platform, right? That if he really wants to take the bull by the horn, call the national executive, is it NEC meeting, or what do they call them?
Yeah,
call all the state governors, call everybody, have a meeting with them. Let us all agree. Do we want to pay subsidy? That means if we are paying subsidy, then we are taking that decision as a country. So if we take that decision as a country, that means that probably your revenue will reduce.
Of course, 100%.
If they now all agree that no, they want to get their revenue, then Nigerians will know that it's a general decision, not just the president trying to help them to patch things, at least because we all know this is not sustainable, and it's gotten to that point where we need to tell ourselves the truth.
Yeah.
If I keep coming to you every day, borrow me 1 naira. Okay, tomorrow borrow me again. Next tomorrow borrow me again. After like 5 days, you will tell me, bros, I'm not sure I can continue this.
Of course.
So it's got to that point that we as a country need to sit down. Let's sit down. Let's look at our problem and let's agree. Do we want to keep borrowing to sustain this thing? Or do we want to let go of this thing and let everybody take responsibility, do what they are supposed to do?
Pay the price.
Pay the price. The citizens will pay the price. The elected officials will pay the price. And we need to declare, let everybody know that Nigeria is not rich.
Yeah. Larry, see, you're talking about pay the price. I don't know that you read this article, that guy wrote, what's his name? That Areno Kakafo. He said he go out with 5 cars every day. So how's he going to afford to buying 1 million petrol on daily basis? You know what I mean? So if
don't mind those ones, bros. That you live abroad, can you go out with 5 cars a day?
But the one I'm using self go. I'm still managing.
Because even those 5 cars, if Nigeria to be a normal country where you have to pay insurance on those cars, even when you don't take them out, right? So what are you saying? Oh, you take 5 cars, you take 10 cars. Why do you need to take 10 cars?
So Nigeria.
So those are things that Nigerians need to face, and that's the reality of life. The reality of life is we need to understand that Nigeria is not rich, and Nigeria should put less focus on cheap money, because most of all these people that say we take 5 cars, 10 cars, tell them I've asked on this platform, what do some of them do? They are not this their cheap money, government, I'm doing contract for government, give me this. You understand what I'm saying? They are not really productive people.
No.
All they do is contract, give us contract. We do this, we do that. Carry portfolio, go to Abuja, go and start lobbying for contract. How many of them can take these risks that Dangote is taking?
Where they cannot even do half of it. All this guy, they have the money. Okay, look at this guy. Dino Milai, he bought a lot of franchise in America. Invest in America business, but he has nothing in Nigeria. And they are the people that they will go on social media complaining. Larry, personally, I want Nigeria to succeed. I want Tinubu to succeed. You know what I mean? I just want him to close his eyes and I don't want him to think about second time at all. I want him to focus this time, these 4 years. Let me do what I need to do, and people will see. So you will not depend on Nigeria to say no. This man continue. But the way he's doing, honestly, is
yeah. I mean, if you ask me, I would rather say you should just do that too. The problem is Nigeria, bros. Insecurity alone, security issue we have in Nigeria, half of that is sabotage.
Of course, it's money making business now.
You understand? Because if you want to do this, they look for a way to distract you, right? Okay, now you want to ensure that this works. They start distracting you with they kidnap 1 million. They kidnap. Imagine, it's in Nigeria that I see. They said some people came to a school, they kidnap over 250, 300, and no people said they didn't even see a trace. How?
On a fraud.
How? All in the name of, we need to, so that we'll bring the country to its needs, so that they will need to negotiate with us. They will need, it's in Nigeria that you see even people that you respect coming out and say, go and negotiate with them, go and do this. Negotiate for what?
Because they all have hand in it now. Because Larry, there's no way someone would take 250 children out of school. Even if you put them in a van, it's going to take you some time before you can let them finish and go to where you're going. In a country where we have drones that can trace people, so all those things they're talking about, I don't believe in it. Seriously, if they want it to stop, they will stop it.
Okay. That's what, you know that the last 2 weeks, they've been killing a lot of bandits now. But almost every day, I see it almost every day. They kill all the Kiki bandits in the north.
But Arise not take that now. Arise not pick that.
No. Arise is not. Arise is just more like a blog, like a content creating station.
But Larry, they have voice, so people watch them.
People watch them because people love spaces where they get brainwashed. Look at one mistake Arise did yesterday, and today I'm actually expecting the Benin Palace to write them to correct themselves.
Which they played the video, isn't it?
The video they played that the Oba was dancing, happy that the APC won. And I've seen people in Benin people from Benin telling us that that's an old video. It was when they brought the artifacts.
Can you imagine?
It was when they brought the artifacts and the Oba was happy. And they were rejoicing. And Arise now came and played that video as if that was a video that was just done. So as to, pull the people against the palace. Which TV station does that?
Yeah, Larry, you didn't watch today show when one of the PDP guy went to Arise this morning show and he was crying. And Rufai was actually concurring with him that truly they rig. I was shaking my head at what kind of station is this? Someone.
I hardly watch Arise though. Personally, I hardly watch them.
Why? Watch you going there and see what they do.
I hardly watch them because I don't really like watching stations that are very negative. They always, that thrive more in bad news. So personally, I don't. That's why I don't watch them. And immediately somebody just showed me, oh, the Oba was, and even in their comment section, a lot of people were telling them that pull this down. This is an old video,
They need to sue them.
which I expect them to come to the following day and correct themselves. But they never did that. They never corrected themselves.
Maybe the palace will sue them. Probably.
They never correct themselves because it goes in line with what they think their audience want to hear.
Mm-hmm. Larry, we are in democracy.
No, it's democracy now. It's democracy. And when the government try to do something, they start shouting, "Oh, they are anti-people, they are anti this, they are anti that."
In fact, even he was even talking about the other guy that won, saying the guy is illiterate, that he didn't go to school, that he cannot speak English. Who English help? But then the guy started ruling and he's doing well. They go back to their format. I'm very sure that guy will perform for Edo State.
No. The guy, I was telling people yesterday, I said, see, I like how people are criticizing the guy. It's not left for the guy to prove them wrong. I've seen a lot of people, oh, he doesn't speak the right English and this and that. People that have been speaking English, what have they done?
Of course, Abi. English doesn't make you be an intelligent person now. Chinese
English, everybody knows the problem of everywhere, right? People have bad roads, fix the road. People have bad schools, fix the school.
No hospitals.
No hospital, fix it. It's not all about English. It's not all about
exactly. Larry, moreover, it's not in the first place. I mean, he's going to have a spokesperson that will be speaking. I mean, speaking for
now.
You understand?
He can even take all these PhD, Harvard, and everything, put them as commissioner. They will advise. Tinubu that we are talking about today. What did Tinubu do when he was governor? He picked all of them from Fashola to the Edun to Aregbesola and everybody. Put them as commissioner. Let them advise.
They work for. They will advise him on what to do. You know what I mean? So, and that's it. Look at today now. Tinubu didn't go to. I mean, he didn't go to America. He has Shettima to go. If the guy needs to go and engage, he can send his deputy to go. He doesn't need. You understand?
People are saying, no, he didn't go. He didn't go. And if he goes, you will still be the same people saying, oh, he's wasting money. So
exactly. You know what they're looking for? They're just looking for the man to make a mistake so that they can start making him and start complaining. You can see for some times now, Ekene, he's not saying anything. He keep quiet on the platform because he has nothing to criticize to talk about.
I just pray that everybody learns. I pray because at the end of the day, what we are all praying for is the country to be good. If the country is good, it's our country. We don't have any other country.
Yeah.
To go through. So that's
Larry, before you go, I want to just say something a little bit about the
Can you hear me? Are you still there? Okay, I think we lost you. Okay. I'll catch you later.